I couldn't sleep a wink last night. I'm telling you, I'm very concerned about how asleep people are out here and how they're getting ready to walk right straight into the slaughter machines that the bankers need to reset our financial calamity. They are always hiding their financial crimes. Every single world war and all the skirmishes and confrontations and never ending wars, including 9/11, have all been about the bankers. And how do I know? Because I did the research. It took 7 years, and we did the research to find out who is behind what we see in the world today. Now, many of you are not going to take the time to read what we have written. So you're going to have to rely on me just telling you straight up, like your favorite aunt. In fact, some of the guys in the cattery call me Aunt Betsy. So here, Aunt Betsy's talking to you. And I can't talk to the 20 to 25-year-olds. They're way too brainwashed. They're in a deep sleep. They're in hypnosis. I want to talk to their parents. Now, parents, listen up to me. The military industrial complex must have your sons go to war to be literally slaughtered for profit. This is how they make money. And they need to make a lot of money right now because the whole financial system is getting ready to collapse with trillions of derivatives. Plus, we know that there is a plan already in place to depopulate the earth. And war is a great place for the depopulation to happen. Now, what I've seen lately tells me that this is not going to slow down until your boys, your young men in your family, ages 20 to 25, have been shipped overseas and put into these slaughterhouses. Let me explain. But first, I'm not just any person out here. I did a lot of research with my buddies. 7 years of research, and we found out the history of our nation and the truth about how it was set up and who's really running it. All that stuff you get in school, how you hated your history classes, it's because it's lies and propaganda. And all the textbooks are all done by publishers that are run by the very group that we are trying to defend ourselves from. Over the last 2 years, we've seen these articles come out that say that the military cannot meet its recruitment goals. We also see stories about the Ukraine, how they literally extract their young men from their homes to put them on the front line. Oh yeah, those young men don't come back. And now the Ukraine has a shortage of young men to fight. So they're having to draft the women, pregnant women out there fighting. No, they're not fighting. So get over that. That's not what's happening. Moloch needs his human sacrifice, and war is a perfect place for that sacrifice. Parents, if you have young men ages 20 to 25, listen up. They are going to be conscripted. And let me tell you why. The stories about how the military doesn't have, there's nobody to recruit. And then the ones that are, they're too fat, they're too slow, they've earned too many meds and all that. Those are the reasons that they're setting in place. Then the next thing that comes out in the news is how the Air Force has increased its recruitment age to age 42. See, they want you to get thinking about how this can go on and on. In fact, they could conscript men all the way up to age 59, 60, I think is a cutoff if it got really desperate. Well, if it was a war, like you thought a war was, you would think, well, in a couple of years, well, it'll be over. But that's not what this is. This is the complete slaughter of Americans and countries all over the world of our young people, which are the very group that would reproduce our population, the very group that would be here to protect us. But when I look at the landscape and I see the 20 to 25-year-olds and what's going on with them, it's just devastating. They're on, they see their therapists. They don't have jobs. Well, are they to blame? What kind of jobs are out there for anyone? They're in debt, student loan debt. They've been fully indoctrinated by the public school system, so they are clueless. For me to reach out to them, I'm not going to be effective. So I decided last night, I was tossing and turning. How do I get this information, this vital information, out to my fellow American citizens? So I'm talking to the parents of those young men, 20 to 25 years old. You better wake up and say something. You need to contact your congressman. You need to do it by email. You need to make a trip to their office. You need to call them. You need to get in their face, and you need to tell them what your feelings are about their discussion at all of the military draft. You're not sending your sons over to a never-ending war in the Middle East. Now, parents, you're the last line. You know your children aren't going to say anything, so you have to do it. This is your time to stand up for your family and your children. And it's not going to stop there. See, they start out with 20, 25-year-olds. And please, if you're in the military, and I'm not saying things exactly right about how the draft works, I appreciate your comments. Then they'll go after the older ones. They'll go up 25. Okay, let's do 26, 27, 28. Oh, and we have to go down to 19 and 18 because, at 18, you have to register for selective services. So that's going to be this huge swath of young men. And remember, it's not a war. They're going to tell you it's a war. They're going to drum up your patriotism. They'll probably even have a false flag out in the Mediterranean or the Baltic so that you think we've been attacked by Russia. Don't buy it. It's British Pilgrim Society propaganda false flags. See, they can't draft the women right off the bat because they would get way too much pushback. So they're going to sneak this in. It's just going to be, we need extra men. We got to save America and all this. And they're going to send in the younger group. Then they're going to need to up the age. And because I was reading, the War College just came out with an article, a post. I put this out on our reports, and it's very disturbing because what I was seeing in there is they're prepping us for how many are going to be slaughtered. They were saying that in the Ukraine, they need 3,600 at least troops a day because that's how many men and women, those are the troops, the people, the humans, get slaughtered a day. 3,600 a day. So can you imagine how much they're going to slaughter in the Middle East? And some of those are going to be your sons in your family if you don't stand up to this. They can't come after the girls right now, the women. It would be too politically explosive. So they're going to start out with the young men, and then they're going to work the ages, upper and lower, and then they're coming for the women. And you women out there that have always been asking for your equal rights and this and refuse to be traditional wives and have a family and changing your genders and all that, they're coming after you. And they're going to put you on the front line. And the purpose really is not to save America, protect ourselves. It is a trick. How they supposedly in the stories tricked the Jews to go into the showers at the Holocaust. Well, you're being tricked to go into a war to protect America. And it's nothing but a slaughterhouse. These are the killing fields. So parents, even if you have daughters of that age, you better stand up. You better shout from the rooftops because it's coming. I'm already seeing Congress people acknowledge that the military has a recruitment problem, and they're already taking their vote that they're pro-Israel. You see, these things have to happen in steps. The next thing that's going to happen is they're going to vote in military conscription again. So, hello, this is your wake-up call to the parents of all men and women ages 20 to 25. Your mission this week is to get in the face of your congressman and tell them to stand down. And if they don't stand down, and if they vote, or if they even have an inkling to vote for the conscription, you need to know that that person is participating in the murder of your children. And what are you going to do? What will you do to save your children? Now, we've told you about the plan. And as you know, I cannot go into detail in the plan on a Big Brother site like YouTube or any of them. You're going to have to do a little digging. You can ask other cats in the comment section, where is the plan? You can take lead in the last video I did, but we have to activate the plan now. The time for sitting on the sidelines is gone. So get your Second Amendment on. Get focused on what your Congress people are doing. call right, go to their offices, protest them. That, remember, they all have home offices in your district. You and your neighbors could put out ads in the papers. You can do things locally to call out and make sure everyone in your neighborhood realizes that these elected officials, and of course we know they're not elected, they're selected by the British Pilgrim Society and Optic and Martin Alec Brown and Jeffrey Patty and, the gang. We did our research. We know there haven't been elected officials in Congress for a long time. But you have the job to notify the people in your home district what's going on with your congressperson and how they're going to sneak in the draft as a cover to depopulate America. So get on it and don't tell me that you couldn't do anything. You can do it.